I'm here with Steve Nicholson, Chief Football Writer at the Derby Telegraph, after the Rams' 2-1 defeat here at Wolves. Steve, your thoughts on that performance?
Defeat was disappointing, obviously. First half, it wasn't good. There wasn't enough tempo, the urgency wasn't there, there's no cohesiveness in Derby's play particularly. Wolves weren't a great deal better. It was a very scrappy game, if we're truthful, on a drying pitch, which didn't make it easy for either side. But yeah, after kind of two back-to-back wins, just expected a bit more from Derby in that opening half. I've just spoken to Darren Wassell. He thinks that maybe there was a reaction to the efforts put into those previous two games, and it probably rolled over into this game. But we just expected a bit more. The passing wasn't there. They tried to play too much, I thought, in midfield. George Thorne was back inside. He was coming, looking short all the time, trying to get the ball. Wolves played like the away side, which is not a surprise, actually, because they came to the iPro earlier this season, tried to take Derby on at their own game and got beat quite comfortably. So today they played like the away side, really, let Derby come onto them, then they pressed, then they swarmed around Derby and nicked the possession away from them. So Derby were trying to play through difficult areas when maybe they could have got the ball forward a bit earlier, turned Wolves and made forced mistakes from them, because there's always a mistake in the Wolves team today, but they didn't force enough mistakes from them. So 1-0 down early on to a poor goal, really. It was a well-taken goal by Wolves, but a poor goal from Derby's point of view. And then Chris Martin kind of pulled a fantastic free kick out the bag a minute before the break, and that was a lifeline for Derby. It gave them a real lift going into the break. 1-1, and you thought, right, go on then. Improvement second half, bit more urgency. This game's there for the taking. And start the second half, Derby, I thought, were on top. They went close a couple of times. Tom Ince came on and he curled one a fraction wide, which I actually thought was in from where I was sat. And at that stage, you thought, well, go on then, can you go and win the game? But they never really kicked on from that. And Wolves hit the post late on, and you thought, oh, okay then. At that stage, I'd have said, okay, take a point. Don't lose a game, take a point. Would have given you 7 out of 9 for the week, which would have been a great return. But then Wolves popped up with a late winner. A cross goes in, never stopped the cross, didn't stop the header, and the lad Saville got his second goal of the game and won it for Wolves. So big win for them, Wolves, but for Derby, disappointing result, because Wolves were in a poor place when Derby came today, low on confidence, short of results, but today they've got a win.
You mentioned George Thorne back in the side after a few games out through injury.
Yeah, he did come back. He missed 4 games through injury. He is a key player for Derby, we know that. But really, he's got to be right on his game, George. He keeps stopping and starting this season. If that happens, you cannot get your match fitness up to full level. And he looked a bit heavy-legged first half. He lost the ball in the middle of the pitch for Wolves' first goal, and then they broke, and Saville scored. He took it very well from just inside the box. And George was, people were always looking to play through George, even from the back, always looking to give it in. Well, that's fine, but when sometimes it's not on, don't do it. Mix your game up a little bit. So I thought they kind of tied themselves in knots a little bit doing that. So that was the change. Jamie Hansen, a little unfortunate to drop out the side after last 2 games, but again, he's building his match fitness in the first team. And if you notice against Blackburn and Brentford, he got to kind of 60, 70 minutes and he kind of tied a little bit, which isn't a surprise. So George Thorne coming back today wasn't a shock, but I say we'll see a better George Thorne as he gets fitter.
So all in all, a missed opportunity for Derby?
I think so. I say the 6 points out of the last 2 games. I always thought 7 out of 9 would have been a fantastic return from these 3 games. They missed that opportunity today. They missed that opportunity. Just a bit more pressure on those above them before they kicked off this afternoon. That would have been the ideal scenario. The important thing now, though, is it is a disappointing result. The performance wasn't the best, but it's important to kind of move on quickly. They've got a free week this week. Huddersfield at the iPro next, and they really have to win that game.